Yeah,
I think something we got to consider here is that, people are going to pop on and they're going to immediately think, where's Joe Pappalardo?
They might, because he's on the thumbnail for this episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to come in and they're going to be like, where's my Joe Pappalardo content? Well, freaking, first off, chill.
Yeah.
Just in general, right?
Are we not enough for you?
If you come onto an episode of a podcast, any YouTube video, and immediately within the first 20 seconds, you don't see what you're looking for and you're thinking about clicking off,
you just click off.
Chill.
Yeah.
Just chill. Freaking get a hobby. Whittle wood or something. I don't know.
Look, nope. You stop. You're hovering over the back button. You're about to kill our retention graph. Don't do it.
Don't. Hey,
this episode gets good.
We promise.
Ask us how we know.
We promise that it will. Hey, listen. We know because we recorded a solid hot half hour.
We did.
With Joe Pappalardo. And it is going to be on the second half of this.
Yes.
So there's two options.
Two, I think, equally good options.
Equally good options.
Yep.
Either you can sit here and listen to us because you just like the way that we look and sound.
Absolutely.
Right. Which, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Come on. Let's pop the graph up.
Yep.
90% of Americans, they like us.
I'm not going to put a graph there.
10% it's hatred.
Oh.
It's not there's no middle ground here. It's either you love us or you distinctly hate us.
We're a polarizing podcast.
One out of every 100 people that I meet on the street want to shoot me dead where I stand. So I think
that's not that much higher than the average
person.
Yeah. Like the average response. So
sure.
that's fine.
Yeah, it makes sense. That being said,
option two,
you just hop over to that half hour.
Skip ahead about 25 minutes or so, and you'll get to hear the dulcet tones of one Joseph Pappalardo.
Exactly.
Who informed us, a little spoiler, he's not actually Italian.
Yeah. Which, stolen valor?
Yeah.
Methinks.
We dig into all of that, including Twilight, BDSM, and racism.
That being said, we do talk about Twilight a lot on this podcast for some godforsaken reason.
We've had entire episodes about Twilight on this podcast.
Vampires and Twilight. Yeah. So, hey, more of the same and or BDSM and racism, which some would argue more of the same, but I don't know. I don't judge our podcast that way.
I think both of those things have come up a couple times in the nearly 100 episode span of this podcast.
It's true. We're almost into the centennial of this podcast. When that happens, a couple of things to look out for, right? First off, I will distinctly change as a person and personality. I'm already gearing it up.
It's important for every long-standing podcast that happens around the 100 episode mark.
Exactly.
It's like, man, Dylan's just not the same.
He's not the same guy he used to be.
He's a little more squeaky.
Yeah. Did Dylan fall off? That'll be the question. Every comment,
Dylan fall off?
Every comment under episode 100 is, I think Dylan fell off, or Dylan fell off, or did Dylan fall off?
And then every comment under episode 101 will be, yep, he sure did.
Yep, sure,
confirmed.
Exactly. Confirmed he has fallen off.
Bring that Josh guy back is what they'll say.
Yeah, they'll say, the thing about this podcast is there's not nearly enough Josh.
That's right.
It. Yeah, and when that happens,
just hang it up. It's over.
Yeah, exactly. Will there be a tragic overdose during that period?
Ooh.
It'd be spicy.
Only one way to find out.
It'd be fun. So, keep an eye out for episode 102.
Yeah.
When Shad says addressing the tragedy.
And it's just him in a black suit in an empty room. And he's like, guys, I'm so sorry to have to talk to you about this right now.
And there's only one way I could think about saying it. And he pulls out a ukulele.
Story's been told.
Yeah. That being said, this is an episode of Monomaniacs podcast.
Yep.
Currently, Shadrach Strehle is deep in the bowels of the United States.
Yes.
I won't tell you where, because you might find him and kill him.
Yes.
So I won't say a word.
You should all comment in the comments and guess what the bowels of the United States is.
Yes, as a state. Now, I think the classic answer, of course, is Ohio. But I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It's not Ohio.
It's not. You got to go the other direction a
little bit farther west.
There is still cornfields.
That might be too much of a...
No, that's all. You got the whole kind of Midwest / Plain States to pick from.
It's true. There's a wide range of locations. And if you can guess where it is...
we will send you a prize.
Yes, which is...
Unless you have inside knowledge.
That's my thoughts and prayers. That'll be the prize.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I'll add you to my prayer list every night I go and sit at the end of the bed and I kneel.
And you just pray through the Patreon list?
Yeah, and I pray through the Patreon list.
And then you spend extra time
I'd like to thank you. I would like to thank Mom for mommy and daddy and for my wife and for my children. And
for Joe Pappalardo.
And Joe Pappalardo and Sammy Roberts and Zach and Amber Strehle. And I go through the list. And so not only do you get all of the additional benefits of the Patreon, you also get my thoughts and prayers, which, come on.
It occurs to me that could have been a perk this whole time. Probably a better perk than any of our other perks.
Exactly. Yeah. My thoughts and prayers, much like a priest in the Catholic Church, are worth more than the average individual.
Correct. That's true on both counts.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Would you like someone to intercede for you? That could be me for only $5 a month. We're trying to do indulgences. We're out here doing indulgences right now for our podcast. Hell yeah, dude. Goodness. That being said, you are listening to the Monomaniacs podcast. We got Joe Pappalardo coming up, so keep an ear and eye out for that later on in this episode. In the meantime, we got a lot of things we got to discuss.
We do.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of happenings in the world right now is purely... the only word I would say is insurmountable. The number of things. So we got
cataclysmic.
We got to limit it down to a few. First off, a bridge in Baltimore fell
that's
down.
what I was gonna say. We gotta
talk about the bridge. The bridge fell down. We're about a week late on the bridge.
We are, but then again, we have been a week late on every current event we've ever talked about. So this is true to form. At this point.
So what do we have with a week of additional perspective? There's been a week since. Not a ton has come out since then. Not a ton have come out of the river alive, that's for sure.
Yes. But due to some quick thinking and quick action, when things began to go haywire, not that many people went into the river to begin with.
It's true, but here's my favorite kind of right winger.
Oh yeah, we got to dig into the conspiracy
My
theories.
favorite kind of right winger is the one that says, kind of suspicious that they got that locked down in 90 seconds, huh? Kind of suspicious, don't you think? Kind of weird.
They will not be happy.
Yeah, kind of weird that it only took 90 seconds for them to get that bridge closed.
It's almost like they knew.
It's like they knew it was going to happen. Kind of weird that they hit a lot of bridges at the same time.
What other bridges did they hit?
I don't know. Okay. That's what I was told.
Okay.
That's what I heard. Apparently, they hit a lot of bridges at the same time. Who's they? And what were they doing? Trying to hit the bridges? I've heard this whole thing about it being like a major initiative to destroy the infrastructure of America.
Yes.
Simultaneously. Or just periodically, it's going to hit bridge after bridge. This will not be the first.
There's a split personality on this, I think, in the public discourse, because it's the conservatives that are saying it's a conspiracy to destroy America's infrastructure. Mm-hmm. And the liberals are like, this is why we need to invest in America's infrastructure and build back better bridges. Mm-hmm. So I actually think everybody's on the same page in that we need these bridges to be good.
Yeah.
But they're going about it two different ways.
One of my favorite takes. I got many favorite takes, but one of my favorite takes here is, man, kind of suspicious that it only took a boat to knock this bridge down.
Yeah.
Whoever they hired to design that bridge sucked, and or it was all, weakened so that a ship would destroy it. It's a freaking cargo ship, brother. Do you know how many millions of tons?
It's 750 feet long.
Yeah.
It's like a skyscraper crashing into a bridge.
It's gonna break whatever it hits.
Now, I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, because from the main angle in the video, you see it head on. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look that big. But then if you turn and you look at the side of the thing,
it's like that so image big. of the little toddler who has the 2 cups of water, and it's the same cup of water, and then somebody pours it into a thin beaker and it looks bigger than the short beaker, and they point to that as having more water in it. It's not a justification. It's still dumb to think about.
Yeah. Well, and it's not an excuse for doing zero extra research except for the memes that you see in your Instagram feed.
Listen, at this point in our existence, the best possible take is always the hottest of the takes, right? You got to say whatever comes to your mind within the first 30 seconds, or else it's old news. It's not important.
Yeah, and you have to insinuate strongly that it's all connected, whatever it is, and that they are all behind it, whoever they are.
Whoever they are. Fill in your, country, your ethnicity.
Usually they don't. Usually they don't get to the point of like filling it in. It's just they. It's like the deep state.
Yeah.
Which of course I believe in fervently.
Yeah. Of course.
That said, I think there's no more dangerous kind of conspiracy theorists, and I know a couple of these folks personally, who get their conspiracies from Instagram. That's rough.
TikTok and Instagram have some really insidious conspiracy
because if it's Twitter or Reddit, it's like everybody knows that's like the cesspool of the internet.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, it's like a Twitter meme. It's like a Reddit conspiracy post. Like that's where that stuff is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But if it's sneaking out to infect like 40-year-old white moms on Instagram,
on Facebook,
Instagram/Facebook, but the people that I'm speaking of specifically are getting it in like Instagram Reels because they don't let their kids watch TikTok because TikTok is controlled by the Chinese government, which it is.
But they are controlling it.
But of course, no power has ill interest on the Instagram platform. That's entirely innocent, and so that they and also the way that Facebook content is formulated to attract a certain kind of person. There's a guy on TikTok that does these reaction videos where he just reads Facebook comments as a boomer. And so, have you watched this before?
I mean, I've seen this kind of content before. Yeah.
He'll be like, it'll be like all caps. He'll throw them up and then read them off. He'll be like, I stand for the flag. It's like, congratulations, Donald Trump, and he'll like yell them all out.
Yeah.
It's exactly that kind of thing. And it's like, I need to take my grandma's Facebook password away. She's had it for too long. Diehard Democrat. She's posted things about Donald Trump on Facebook that have gotten her banned from Facebook multiple times. Things about Donald Trump. I think she's threatened violence against sitting public officials many times on there.
That's what I love about there's like this weird Venn diagram between like 4chan edgy internet users and boomers who have no idea how to use the internet or don't know any better. We're like, oh yeah, I can just say whatever I want.
Yeah,
I can go on there and threaten public officials and there are no consequences.
And they think it's just shouting into the void. Because it is just shouting.
Yeah,
into the
and
void.
the funny thing is like I say that, but at the same time, like I think that a lot of these folks would in just public conversations at like a Denny's, if given the opportunity and handed a mic at a Denny's, would say the same thing to everybody in the Denny's.
Yep.
Right now, anybody in the subway, maybe not.
Yeah,
but everybody in the Denny's, they would, and that's an important demographic distinction.
Big distinction.
Yeah. There's a huge amount of difference there. One might not think, but
or even between, like a Denny's and a Waffle House. It's a different thing.
It's true. There are things you could say at a Denny's that you cannot say at a Waffle House.
The N-word, probably. You can get away with that in a Denny's just fine.
Oh, yeah. Not in a Waffle House.
Waffle House, you're getting stabbed with a steak knife.
Yeah, it could be. Well, do they have steak knives in a Waffle House?
They probably had to take them away because people probably kept getting stabbed with them. Waffle House.
Let's not unpack that. Let's not unpack that.
No. I mean, Waffle House is infinitely superior. I think it's the best. It's the best kind of diner style place that there is.
This is for some people. This is tantamount to admitting that I've, worked for ISIS, but I have never been in a Waffle House in my life.
Well, it's not. They don't have any out in Washington area. I assume.
Not that I know of.
And the nearest one is not that far from here, but it's probably a few hours south still. And so you haven't really been around a lot of them.
No,
but
I haven't had a lot of opportunity.
Right. I recommend that you take the opportunity because it's an excellent experience. The menus, of course, are all like, large, laminated, kind of sticky. Everything smells like coffee and cigarettes. I'm just getting romantic about it in my mind right now. It's beautiful. It's the backbone of Appalachia.
You know, I will say though, if like after this podcast, if there was a Waffle House down the street,
we would go there every week, I think.
That sounds just like, imagine like finishing off an episode and getting a stack with bacon and sausage on the side.
Some bad coffee.
Sheesh. No, yeah, man. There are a few things more decadent than breakfast for dinner, I would say. And decadent may not be the best word, but that's how it feels. It almost feels like I'm going to be a little bad. I'm going to be a little bad today. I'm going to have a little bit of waffles with my this evening.
And it's easy to overindulge because you're like, okay, waffles. Oh, I should do some bacon. Oh, maybe I should do some egg. Maybe some orange juice. Ooh, do I throw a little bit of?
Well, I mean, the fact that
champ in the orange juice. Yes.
And this is just the most. What's the word I'm looking for? This is a cold take. I mean, I think people have talked about it often, or I know people have talked about it often, but like the fact that we as a society are like chill with having fried cakes with syrup,
with just sugar on them
and butter, and sugar and fruit all on top of everything. Yeah. It's like having dessert in your morning. It's like having a cinnamon roll to start your day.
Yeah, right? Which is also pretty.
Which I did
normalized.
Today. Yeah, I did today. I had 2 cinnamon rolls today. Yep. That was my breakfast. Had a terrible day from a physical standpoint.
I bet.
Yeah,
that's not going to nourish you at all.
Yeah, I had a headache at like 10:30. It was terrible. Would I do it again? Yes,
probably tomorrow.
I would. In fact, if you put a stack of 5 pancakes with syrup and sugar on them tomorrow, no matter how bad I felt, I would try. Yeah, I would try to make it through that stack.
You'd probably eat the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the fact that we believe that is an okay thing to do is insane to me.
However, I do think we've kind of taken it's not a purely American thing. I mean, we've taken this from other cultures, like the pancake thing, like it's like the crepes with the French, that's very decadent. The English breakfast, which is terrible, is like a lot of things, Yeah,
but I wouldn't call the English breakfast decadent because it's all like proteins.
Right. I think the American kind of spirit is taking those things and putting them together and being like, we got the French and the British. Yeah. All of the influences, and then you throw in some breakfast tacos on there or something.
Sheesh.
You're off
I will
to
say
the
this might be
some Danish pastries.
I'm saying a lot of controversial things today.
Yeah,
right. And not just in this podcast. Just like when I'm sitting at work with nobody around, I will vocalize very controversial takes. I'll be like, I think that every person who lives in Lithuania should get castrated at 15, right?
Well,
I'll say that just like, and that's just like my dark and twisted mind, that's just how I am. I'm just weird, like I'm quirky like that. Anyway, that being said, I do think that breakfast burritos might be like the best breakfast food. I might wholeheartedly believe that. I would say that or waffles might be like I would fight somebody over that statement.
The Taco Bell breakfast crunch wrap is. I was at my in-laws this weekend, and I think it was Saturday morning before Easter, and I just knew that my mother-in-law was not going to be quick about making breakfast, and I didn't want to like go and make my own thing and like dirty a bunch of dishes, and so I just snuck out of the house and went to Taco Bell. Nobody knows this. Because I threw away the receipt in the car.
Admitting this in 4K right now?
Yeah.
To your wife, who you do know listens to the podcast.
She will probably listen to this episode. And I ate a Taco Bell breakfast burrito, a hash brown, and a breakfast crunch wrap.
In the car?
In the car while I watched Ricky Stenicki on my phone in the Taco Bell parking lot.
And
sad, then I drove back.
It's so sad.
And I was at peace for a moment. It was wonderful.
No, I get it. But
sometimes you just got to get away.
I think that salsa is a goated breakfast food, or
like
a goated breakfast accoutrement.
Yeah, I got you.
Condiment, and the best combination is with like tortilla and salsa and egg and a little bit of that spicy sausage in there. I mean,
yes. And again,
come on,
this is a testament to the American spirit that takes the best of French, English, Danish cultures, Mexican, south of the border, and just brings it all together into one massive meal that's probably 2,000 calories on its own. And then
I'm getting hungry right now, brother.
Oh, I had a big dinner.
I'm definitely gonna be grabbing some T-Bell on the way back home.
See?
Yeah, ain't nothing stopping me.
I just aim to inspire everywhere I go.
Well, there you go. You know, the thing about Joshua Liebhauser that most people don't know, and the reason that most people don't know this is because people actually would vehemently disagree.
Yeah.
I would say. But his presence is inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the other day, I had drunkenly fallen into a ditch on the side of the road.
Yes.
In Hillsdale.
This is a true story.
And I had I decided that I was done. That it would be better to die in that ditch than to get out of it, to crawl. The effort of crawling out of that ditch would be harder and more painful, and I wasn't going to do it. Right? It was I'd resigned myself to dying in that ditch. And Joshua Liebhauser, with a bunch of Diablo sauce on his shirt, walked by with eating a full stack of that 12-pack of hard shelled tacos. He'd reached into that. He was eating one.
Okay.
Walked by.
This is a lot of unnecessary
He
detail,
looked at me. He looked at me. One of his eyes drifting to the right because of his lazy eye that everybody knows about.
Yes, that too.
He had the Joshua Liebhauser lazy eye that he's cursed his children with, which is just, I think, irresponsible.
That's a shame.
It's irresponsible, honestly, to have children if you got a lazy eye. But that's not what this is about. He walked by, eye drifting to the right, and he looked down at me and didn't even say anything. That was nothing but disappointment, and also acceptance, and also I figured this is how it would end up. And then he just ate a taco and left. But that moment, that connection, when he looked at me, I crawled out of that trench. I was inspired by his presence. Was it because I wanted to prove him wrong? Was it because I felt like the unequivocal love and affection that he displayed in that moment?
Could have been.
I don't know. Like, it's a mystery to me. It's like it's eldritch in nature.
I mean, if it's helpful, I did mean for that look, that solitary glance at you to be as inspiring as it could be. I mean, I was channeling a lot of energy into that.
To be fair, it was half a glance because one of your eyes was in a different direction. But that,
I got the good eye in there, though.
That one half glance, was enough, because your evil eye was the one that was moving to the right. It was nothing but positive eye energy.
The other eye was actually looking back into the box of tacos to help me
ready
reach
to
the
grab
next
the
one.
next one. That's the benefit of looking in two directions, is that you're able to do two things at once, both inspire a drunken man in a ditch.
It's a little known superpower. Yeah.
But no, I crawled out of that ditch. I kickstarted my life back up. I started a small business. I sell pottery to homeless men.
Okay.
For
what do they use the
for
pottery
labor?
What do they use the pottery for?
Mostly to store
like as a
assorted grains.
Grains
that they seal with wax over the winter, and can open it up and they can eat from the grains over the winter and such. It's a nice way to store dry goods. So that's what they use them for primarily, or at least that's what I sell them to them for. So I don't know what they actually use them for.
They pee in them.
They pee in them?
Yes.
No.
Yes. They don't have toilets, so it's like a little bit of porcelain for the road.
Why wouldn't you just piss on the ground though?
Well, they're not savages. How could you speak about them that way?
Well, I just if you don't have to spend money on a place to piss, why would you spend money on a piss place if you could just the world's your piss place,
We got to pull the plug here.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're going. It's hot right now,
dude. It's not hot. You just said the world's your piss place. Get that on a t-shirt. If you'd like a Monomaniacs t-shirt, we've got a shop coming soon. You'll be able to buy some of our overstock.
I do want to throw that out there. We have shirts that will be on sale here soon. We're running out of time, so let's hit the major points. First and foremost, I want to thank our Patreon.
Yes.
We could not, as always, do this show without you.
We prayed for them earlier. We thank them now.
Yes, exactly. And we will pray for them after. The cycle continues.
Yes.
First, I want to thank our top patrons, Zach and Amber Strehle, Sammy Roberts, and Joe Pappalardo. You'll be hearing from him soon. It's great to, as always, to produce this for you guys. Again, you're the reason that we keep going, is for the folks in the Patreon. Because really, you've shown us the most support, and it's just
That's
you know,
right.
it's great to feel like people want to listen to the show, so it's always awesome. If you're interested in supporting us, we've got our Patreon at Monomaniacs Monomaniacs Pod. If you go to Patreon and search that, you can find us. $5 a month, you can get access to not only all sorts of different access to our Discord, and that's direct access to us.
Yes.
In that
is the only way any of you can access us.
Exactly. But you get access to our Patreon post show, which we'll be recording after this. At this point, we're nearing on almost 100 hours of content for only $5. You could spend $5, listen to all 100 hours of that.
That's incredible.
And then just move on, and I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Freaking, I'll take $5 for that.
If actually, I think if anybody goes back and is a new listener and can show us that they've listened to every episode that we've ever done, we will create a custom T-shirt with your face and the boys' faces on it for you as a thank
with
you.
a heart around it that says "Best Friends Forever" underneath. Yeah,
Yep.
We'll do it.
We will 100%.
Yeah, this is my promise as a
Yes.
as a Dylan. That being said, again, thank you all. And if you're interested in learning more about the benefits, then head on over to the Patreon and check that out. In addition, as Josh mentioned, we're gonna have a shop with T-shirts for the show.
Yeah,
that's coming up soon. Maybe it's in the description right now.
Over here?
They're not in the room right now. Check the description right now. Take a look-see down there.
Yep.
Take a look-see. You're looking? You're checking it out? Okay. Check it out. If it says "Gotcha, sucker," then we do not have the link there yet. If it has a link there, then you can now purchase the shirts. One of those two things is going to be down there. And it's going to be very obvious which one if you can see. So if you can't see, get somebody to come in here and look at it for you. Okay, your helper, your seeing-eyed dog, whatever you got. Take a look, see. Maybe they could check it out and tell you.
All right, and now the one, the only, the beautiful Joe Pappalardo.
You do it. All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. Joe Pappalardo, comedian and Italian-American rights activist, here today in the podcast.
Stunning and
stolen
brave.
valor.
Yeah, well, stolen valor. So, do you think you've stolen Italian-American valor, or do you say
no? I'm not Italian at all.
So the last name is purely for show. You've
my
stolen
dad.
it.
So my dad was adopted by a nuclear scientist who helped build the atom bomb. Whose name was Joe Pappalardo.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
Oppenheimer, Pappalardo.
Exactly. How does it feel to have the blood of so many on your family's hands?
I mean, we're not related, right? But there is a certificate for the Manhattan Project with my name on it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, I think your grandfather would probably be frustrated if you would separate yourself so much. Say, oh, well, we're not actually blood related.
I would never. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
I can't disavow that, but it's technically, if someone put a gun to my head, I'm like, well, technically, we're not related.
See,
I'm selling them out.
You see, you're doing the same thing that so many young Americans do, and you take all the bad parts of your history and you just you throw it aside. You don't even think about it. Yeah,
I think we lost him.
Did we learn it? We lose him?
No, you didn't lose me. Oh, sorry. I just got told I got 10 minutes added to the clock, so we're good.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. We got Joe for another 10 minutes, everybody. Freaking feel the hype in the room, brothers. The energy.
It is sizzling.
I like the new setup.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So, we haven't had you on since we got this new setup. Right now, I'm talking to both you to my left and to the camera to my front. You'll be in this weird
You'll be here
in between.
in a box.
So right now, I'm going to go ahead and just give you a little pet on the side of the face.
I'm gonna stroke your chin.
There you go.
I shouldn't do that again.
Oh, man, this is such a weird angle because I'm on an iPhone and I'm landscape. And the problem is the camera's here. I keep looking over here. I'll put the camera.
Don't worry, right. With editing magic, we're going to make you look schmexy as all hell. So
there's an AI that can do that. We'll figure it out.
Don't worry about it. We're going to do that thing where it's going to put a filter over you where it's like sparkles around your face. It's going to be the texture of your face is going to be
on the cheeks.
Yeah, completely flat.
I'm going to fix my nose.
Yeah. Well, hey, I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't. I would not disavow
no
your ancestors, your Italian American ancestors like that. I would never say such a thing. Goodness.
So what's your dad's racial heritage then? Ethnic heritage. Do you know?
He tracked down his birth mom at like he was like in his 50s when he tracked her down.
Right. Yep.
And that's weird because when you track down your birth parents at that age, both of you assume the other person just wants money. So like when they met up, they didn't hug; they just circled each other like.
yeah. What's the angle that this person's going for? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much money did he get out of her, or none at all?
Same tax bracket. So
all right.
It was perfect. Everything's cool. She's Dutch, I think. They're Dutch.
Cool.
Okay. So we've got German American instead, or which. Problematic. Just add it to the list.
My mom's French German, so
add it to the list of reasons Joe Pappalardo is problematic. Freaking put it up.
There are many.
It's a lot of orders. It's a lot of barking. Yeah.
Oh goodness gracious.
Oh man. All right. So what you been up to? How's comedy?
I could see that you're in Florida. That was what the reading I got was. How does it feel to be so distant from us to the point of being in warmer weather and just enjoying this time of year for what it is?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, we were in a pool today, and I was like, I didn't even realize like it's freezing. It's like 40s back where I'm living right now, Virginia area. But yeah, it's cool to be down here. We're gonna go to Tampa later this week, so I'll try the Tampa scene out, which is a lot of the Austin scene. Is guys moving from Tampa, I think.
Okay, cool. So you're going to go to some spots down in Tampa?
Yeah, I might meet someone. I don't know.
Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. You could walk up to them and be like, "I'm your biggest fan," and then they'll just like completely blacklist you because the fact that you simp for them is just enough for them to disconnect completely. And then
I'm sure I'll get blacklisted after I perform. It'll be easy. So
yeah, you don't need to ruin it post your performance if you've already ruined it during your performance. So this
this podcast is just a chronicle of my confidence in stand-up just falling.
It's not
no
hard.
one has ever been higher.
Yeah, it's not hard when you come in so hot off of the jump. And confidence with that first episode. Yeah,
a couple of months in, you're like, I've done 100 shows already.
I'm gonna conquer the world.
Doing this for life.
You're out here. You're calling somebody out on the podcast. Yeah. You're like, you suck. This
throwing shade at the libs.
You're trying to get me canceled. I'll take you down.
They were.
Yeah.
They're trying to get me canceled from open mics,
Which is crazy.
No one cared. I wasn't going to lose anything.
Yeah, the illustrious.
Where are they now? How are they doing? Whoever that was.
I think anyone I was talking about then has quit.
Okay. So. Hey, you're a survivor.
Exactly.
You're like a cockroach in that respect.
The thing about it is, as Mark Driscoll said, Mars Hill is like a bus. And there's going to be bodies thrown out of the back of the bus, right? And there's going to be a mountain of them. There's going to be a pile by the time we're through. Joe Pappalardo, the same thing.
Wow.
Right? By the time he reaches stardom, there's going to be a pile of bodies, people he's run over on his journey to make it to the top.
Yeah, because I killed them because they were more talented.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So anybody that you have beef with is because you're jealous of them and their talents, is what you're trying to say?
No, I think that's just everyone in this business. It's like,
man, you are a little more cynical than last time we spoke.
True. No, there's a lot of people right now. There's two ways to do it, right? You can either be really charismatic and things happen quickly, or you can just not be fun to be around, and then you're like Bill Burr, or someone like that.
Yeah.
And forever. I'm going to be neither of those.
There's got to be a middle ground for weird, skinny white guys in the center.
Well, yeah, you become like a producer, or you just become an agent because you're like, I can't do it.
Book shows. Yeah, you're a guy that is a show booker.
You could also be exclusively a podcast bro, which is maybe the best life, I think.
A lot of people are doing that. Yeah.
A lot of people out here podcast broing right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
All over the place.
This podcast feels like a Voight. I said it to you guys before. It feels like a Voight comp test for narcissism.
Okay, explain.
You guys, you start out just bringing people on to talk about themselves, and if they didn't figure it out right away that they weren't interesting,
oh no!
And I'm not saying I won. I don't think I passed.
Oh goodness. Well, listen. Hey, when somebody's on this podcast, our primary goal is to metaphorically undress them in front of the world.
That's right.
You
Strip
know,
them
like
naked.
strip them naked. You know, show all their
Expose
flaws.
every wart and mole.
Yeah. We're like Stern in that respect.
Okay.
Right? First off, body humor, just really our brand, and second of all, people spilling secrets in their heart to an audience that will make fun of them for it for unknown reasons, right?
And
this is exactly what we're here for.
If you're interested in hearing the deepest secrets, then you can join us at Patreon /Monomaniacs pod. Those are where the deepest ones are.
It's true. It's true.
How'd I do in my plug there?
Oh, my father's calling me right now.
Oh, should we talk to him just for a hot second?
Just for a second.
We have a rule where we
we
always pick up the phone on the podcast.
Exactly. Hey, Dad, I want to let you know you're on the Monomaniacs podcast right now.
Oh, right on. What are we talking about?
We're here with Joe Pappalardo. Say hi to Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, man.
He says, "Hey, man." Unfortunately, he can't hear you because he's over on the remote. Well, how about this? If you have one piece of wisdom, at least for Joe Pappalardo, what do you have for him? If you got any?
I do. I think he needs to go all in. He needs to sell all his goods, and he needs to hit the road, and he just needs to be 100% in on stand-up and just follow his dreams. Just go all in.
Wow. That incredible, inspiring words from
Did you get that, Joe?
Strehle, who I will call later. Goodbye, Dad.
Right,
Thanks, Dad.
Oh man, inspiring words. Papa Strehle.
And let me tell
I love you, son.
Let me tell you, he does not give that kind of advice. Period. Just in general. So the fact that he did, right?
That was awesome.
He would not say that to his own son, let alone Joe Pappalardo.
I love a guy who's willing to invest in a product before he's even sampled it. I love that.
He could be snooping on your TikTok. You don't know. That's possible.
He might be snooping. I did go to Columbus.
I watch all the TikToks. So
What were you doing in Columbus?
You stay at the TikTok. I went to Columbus. We went to Columbus, and then we did Columbus. We did Columbus, and then Huntington, West Virginia, and then Erie, Pennsylvania, and then ended our trip in Pittsburgh. Just doing spots along the way. So that was fun.
That's awesome.
So we're branching out.
Wow, we're taking the show on the road.
That's right. Conquering the Rust Belt.
Joe, I have a question
Belt.
for you. Would you say that this show has legs as a show that's in the back of a bar that is recorded periodically, where we have a little setup? We got lights set up in the bar corner, right? And we're recording a podcast from there.
I've always wanted.
Do you think we got that vibe? Do you think we got that?
Is that what Charlie Barron's does right now?
Yes, it's fantastic.
The You Betcha?
Yep. It's a blast of it.
Never even heard of it.
It's called.
I think though.
It's called Bellied Up or Bellies Up, and it's two guys with a couple like handheld microphones at the bar, and they like interview themselves and the bartender and patrons. Yeah, I mean,
You can't do that at every bar, though.
Yeah,
it's really got to be a Wisconsin bar.
Yeah,
and it's gotta be
you can't do that at a city bar. Like,
no.
You're gonna get some guy coming in. Hey,
I think you'd get that here in Hillsdale.
You want to
I just
think
need my
about the
kids
gays?
Donald Trump.
No, I will say though, if I sat down at a bar and there was somebody next to me at the bar who was recording a podcast, I think I'd get mad. I think I'd get pissed at him.
I mean,
like, I'm out here trying to drown my sorrows.
Kind of going to ruin your night. Yeah. Especially if it's a couple like smarmy white boys. That's
exactly
not a good look.
Smarmy white boys who wear ball caps and have beards, they don't deserve spaces anywhere. Any space, push them out of it. That's what I say.
Counterpoint, maybe like a craft brewery. You could do a tour of them. I think they'd actually probably go over very well at like, hip craft. Hey guys,
like
this
a
the craft
podcast
brewery
where you tour the
podcast.
brewery.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. See,
perfect.
That's just
Coming up with
YouTube.
ideas.
That's just a YouTube series.
Okay, all right. You've cracked that one wide open.
Hey guys,
I
I'm
do
here
think
at Dark Horse Brewery.
With our
Just listen
bartender
to you
Nate.
slurp, like,
Yeah. We've got text and impact font popping up on the screen after every major point.
Now,
a lot of cuts.
I did come across a really cool podcast called like the Subway Podcast or something on TikTok. I don't know if you guys have seen this. And it's this guy who just interviews random people on the subway, and he gives them a microphone. He does a really good job of finding just the most crazy, joyful personalities to speak with. And
that guy rocks.
Interviewed this one guy. He's like, hey, like, And the guy's like, okay, here's my hot take. It's okay to be 5% racist. And then they had a debate about what that was. And I was like, this is fantastic content. So anyway,
they used the subway card as a microphone.
What percentage are you on racism, Joe?
Yeah. What percent?
What percentage?
I think not including the built-in 5% that just becomes that just happens because you're a white male from Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's.
I think everyone it's like opinion polling.
Okay.
It fluctuates.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It's depending
but you hit
on who cut you off in traffic, that kind of a thing.
Well, now we're stealing material, but
I was gonna say depends on what's going on at the border.
I know that's a bit from somebody. I couldn't remember who.
You're not hungry right now, but
okay,
every white guy is out there like.
Oh, that's me, bro.
I know that.
No, I mean he has the definitive bit on it, but I think it is like opinion polling. But you probably hit a point where like you get old enough and you just go, all right, we're 100% this. You make some draft picks and it's over.
Your bracket at that point has been resolved, and there is a grand winner. There is a champion, and that is who you were the most racist against at that point.
You
take all of your life experiences up to that point. At some point, Asians beat out, the Jews. Somewhere in there, you don't remember exactly, but they're in Final Four. And you can't wait to see how it turns out.
That's good content.
This is the clip that ends everything. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, guys, we should have the Jews and Muslims do a play-in. That should be.
Dude, I got a parlay on the Jew-Muslim match right now, dude. Saying 6 points on Jews for sure. They're gonna get up 6.
We've done a lot of rankings on the show, but I feel like we should start doing them in single elimination bracket format. Just do them over again. We did continents, we did religions, we did mythologies the week when you were not here.
Yeah. I will say, we get very few negative comments. Okay. But we did get a negative comment about the rankings of the mythologies and the fact that Romans were not in the top 5. So that's we gotta.
Do you mean the Greeks?
No, Romans.
The Romans.
You guys picked Greek though.
Yeah,
I did. I thought it was the best.
So
yeah.
Why do we care about the reboot?
That's what I told Shad.
Exactly.
Shut
Why do
up.
we care about? Damn, Joe, you're coming in hot on this person.
You read the book once and you're like, wait, so someone just started making fanfic like a century later?
Exactly. Thank you.
It's like saying that 50 Shades of Grey is better than Twilight. You can't do that. Do you not know that lore?
No.
No, yeah. 50 Shades of Grey, originally Twilight fan fiction. It all makes sense when you look at the characters, right? Mr. Grey.
Oh, this is a theory.
Yeah, billionaire. No, this is 100% truth. This is not even the theory. This is legitimately the author wrote out a whole fan fiction and then re-edited it as an original work, based off.
And then took the supernatural stuff out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because one of the things about vampires. Well, I can't believe we're going in on this, but one of the things about vampires is that they're supposed to be billionaires because they make all this money on interest because they're around forever, right? They make the right investments and they become billionaires.
That's so boring, but yes.
Yes, it's true. It's just a fact about vampires, from what I understand.
This is like people that think Bruce Wayne should give the charity more. It's like, that's not why we watch. I've never watched Batman and be like, I hope he makes a deposit. Like,
can you imagine the amount of inner city youths he could have fed with that Batmobile money, dude? Can you imagine?
I think he does sponsor an orphanage, and
he does.
He does. He has the.
So then we end up. It makes you look dumb though defending him. You're like, oh, he does. He does donate. It's like,
actually. Well, yeah. That's like, what are they eating caviar there? I mean, it's still an orphanage.
What if they are?
They're drawing the Batman logo, hoping he comes back.
Hoping.
So the movie.
And then he just picks a special one to be his sidekick,
and you're gonna die in 10 years for the Joker's poison.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, imagine being that kid. You see Bruce Wayne walk in and he adopts one of them and then leaves the rest of them at the orphanage. It doesn't matter how nice it is. It's not as nice as Wayne Manor.
They're like walking out. He gives him like a little mask and a cape. So you're Robin now. What happened to the last Robin?
It's even
Mr.
better.
Wayne? Don't ask.
it's not the first time he's done that, and so they all shudder.
Oh, no, not me.
The last one, we don't know where he went. We lost contact with him. Oh, goodness gracious. What were we referring? Oh, yeah. Anyway, so 50 Shades of Grey is powerful billionaire and young, impressionable black-haired woman end up in loving BDSM relationship. Right? It's the parallels are just uncanny, and everybody's pale. It all makes sense.
Yeah. Well, what if he was like seducing her, and he was like, "Okay, time to come down to my pleasure room."
Game room is what he calls it.
Game room. Okay, and then they go in there, and it's actually
playroom,
and then she opens the door, and it's actually a podcast
Playroom.
studio.
That's P-Diddy.
And he's like, will you be on my podcast?
Give me on my podcast.
And then it's just an episode of Monomaniacs.
We talk about we talk about the train system in New York City and ways we can improve it. Yeah.
So ignore the whips and the chains.
Yeah. Those are there for set dressing. Yeah. Do you think we would get more views on our podcast if we had like a full BDSM setup just behind us we never acknowledged and we just have it there?
What do you think, Joe?
That's what you hear from a guy who really wants to do that and is just trying to make everyone be like, what if we did though?
Wouldn't it be funny? It's like, we could do it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Unless people think it's a good idea. Like, maybe we could do it.
I mean, I've already got a box of stuff around here somewhere. Honey, it's for the podcast. I told you it's for the
podcast. I bought this latex leather suit for the podcast.
It's a gag.
It is a business expense.
Tell the IRS.
That is great. Like a guy who's clearly like in like Eyes Wide Shut stuff, and his wife thinks all of that is podcasting.
Podcasting.
That's for his podcast.
He walks out of the basement wearing a gimp like mask and everything. Comes and gets some Gatorade. He's like, all right, we're almost done with this episode, and goes back downstairs.
Are you guys almost done? Oh yeah. We're just wrapping up. We got to do the post show. We're doing the post show right now, so
he's out of breath.
Yeah, could be.
Sorry, I was yelling.
Could be anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling. I mean, how we're doing. Anyway, I'll talk to you in a minute.
A lot of guests tonight.
Yeah. Here's the bolt lock on the basement door. As he goes down. Hell yeah, dude. Oh man.
Well,
no. I mean, I feel as though this is sort of like my second life, this podcast.
Really?
I just go off, once a week for 3 or 4 hours. I could be doing Lord knows my wife doesn't listen to the thing. So, I mean, I could be off doing whatever.
You could have been off the podcast for 6 months and she would not know.
She would have no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm a sucker because I'm just doing something boring like podcasting instead of
marriage is hard. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah. You don't know. You don't know the half of it.
Don't even get us started. Talking about second lifestyle, I have a question about the comedy scene. It's, as you're getting older, I think you're a year older than me, aren't you? Are you 28 yet?
I'll be 29 in August.
Oh, it's so old. Anyway, because you're so old, how do you stay up late? Because if I weren't here, I'd be sleeping right now. So how do you?
I don't know. Have you been on the internet? Like,
no, I haven't. Enlighten me.
Like, it's so bad. I mean, you just get on Instagram and you're just like, I should just watch every clip, and you just get sucked in. Like,
okay, all right.
Over this weekend, I got trapped.
Okay,
and on my Steam Deck for far too long. I know. Hey, that's
nerd.
It's not nearly as cool as being on Instagram, right? Because that's sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that I sold that to you so I could quit, and then
you went and bought another one.
Did you do that?
I got a better one.
Oh, nice.
Got the upgrade.
That's awesome.
Dude. Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. They were discounting them like crazy because they came out the second gen. I was like, I gotta get back in.
Just when I thought
I
out,
can't. I don't stay up.
I
don't go to bed early. Yeah, they just when I thought I was out. But yeah, I've been up late every night. It's like 1 or 2 a.m. every night. So
out on the spot. I could do it if that was lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right? The problem is that I'm at a state where I'm in bed at like 7:30 and just chilling, you know, for whenever. But
I mean, I don't mean the pride. I mean, Josh has kids, like several kids, so like I get that. But like, I thought you guys aren't married to night owls? Like
No, I'm married to. I mean, I'm up until like at minimum 10 p.m. every night, and like for a lot of people that's late. I'm okay. Let me recontextualize real fast. Let me step back for a second. This is all going to sound like cope.
You're all trying to be defensive toward yourself.
I know.
Right now.
I know. This is all going to sound like cope. This is all going to sound like I'm being defensive.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm just trying to throw this out there. Right. Friggin' judge me. Only God in the comments could judge me. Okay. Let me throw that out there. Okay. So if you're not one of those two entities, then, back off. That being said, I'm up until midnight every night almost.
Okay.
I would say.
Nice.
that's more like it. Yeah, that makes more sense.
It's harder when your wife is so actually it's easier when your wife's pregnant because she goes to bed early, and I just fall into just chilling and vibing, and then if you're in the vibe mindset for a long enough period of time, you could just go forever. And now
I understand that. I get it.
And now, because I'm off the sertraline, I no longer feel tired anymore. So I don't feel sleepy.
Wait.
Anymore.
Did you stop?
I did. So I haven't talked about this on. I haven't talked about this on the main podcast before, but this is crazy. So when we recorded last time, I was on the sertraline on the second level dose. And I had been drinking regularly almost every other day, I would say, since I was
Joe's face.
I was on the sertraline. And so when we talked about it, I know. I had no idea. You talking about it made me look it up and then realize that I was not supposed to be drinking, period. And so then I stopped drinking because you talked about it. And then after like a week and a half, for the first time since I started taking the medication, it started working, like first time ever. So it was like crazy. It was like, cause like it was feeling significantly worse, and I was drinking more when I was on sertraline because like the downturn on it was so intense when you were drinking. So it started to work for the first time. And then, now I'm getting off of it because I'm chill now, right? Like, because it all just sort of like worked itself out. So, Joe Pappalardo, you saved a life. You saved a life. You did.
To save a life.
Another man saved from Big Pharma. I mean, because when you drink on it, it rubber bands. It's more dynamic. Your feelings peak and plummet more.
Yeah,
which seems counterproductive.
Well, and that was the thing is what I was realizing was
alcohol is actually the cure, is what they don't know.
Yeah.
What you got to do.
Yeah. Pharma's trying to sell you a cure for a disease you don't have.
That's what I tell people. I tell people it just makes you feel. Zoloft and sertraline, it just makes you feel 3 beers deep. That's all it does.
Yeah, well, how I would describe it is that it made me for the first time in my life feel nothing for like a period of time.
Yeah.
Where it's like I would go to bed and I wouldn't think about anything.
That's crazy.
And that's just weird for me. Because like now that I'm almost completely off of it, I'm still on like the final little week of dosage and it's just petering out.
You're not done yet.
Not fully.
You aren't ready for what's coming.
Oh no,
you were not ready.
Oh hell yeah, dude. Well, we'll find out in about a week when I'm off of it entirely.
Join us next week.
Oh, you're gonna be a monster, dude.
I've just been consuming nothing but content from Joe Pappalardo about how my sex drive is going to skyrocket because I'm going to be off of this.
So absolutely raging.
Yeah, you're going to be monomaniacal for one thing.
Monomaniacal in your pants.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
dude. Hell yeah, dude. That being said,
talk about that on the podcast next week.
I do, before we move on, I do want to say thank you to Joe for talking about sertraline because it made me realize that I should not have been drinking while I was on it, and it saved me a lot of headaches. So I do appreciate that.
Well, I'm
Joe.
glad you worked that out,
Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for the help. I'm glad I worked it out, dude. I mean, like literally, it was like 2.5 years of trying different medications, and turns out it all didn't work when I was drinking. And my doctor had never told me to stop drinking. So say love.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Sucked. So yeah.
I mean, I'm neurotic. I was still neurotic when I started it, so I Googled. And I was like,
everything. Yeah. what I've realized is I can't be so apathetic when it comes to dealing with doctors. Like you got, you can't trust them. Which is
can't.
sad.
No.
You can't.
You gotta
tell them what you want and be like, no, this is it. This is our. Have you thought about this?
This is an alpha male podcast now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is,
like, I feel pregnant so you can have chill time, and then you just need to drink. That's how you manage your feelings.
I have not heard any of these podcasts. Can you send me a link?
Anything that justifies drinking, take it.
Yeah.
That being said, Joe Pappalardo, holy smokes. How are we doing on time? Are you still available? Are you running out of time? Just want to double check here.
I am.
Pull the room.
Hold on, let me check it. I'm close. I'm like 5 minutes.
Okay, you're close.
What are
you're
your
getting
closing
close.
thoughts?
With closing thoughts, yeah, we gotta get closing thoughts done here. Okay, this is for those that don't know.
Yeah.
This is a common thing that we do on the podcast. Closing thoughts.
Yeah.
With
all the time.
The Monomaniacs closing thoughts segment.
They're rarely effective.
Yeah,
and
honestly,
rarely concise.
I've never heard anybody come back to us and say your closing thoughts changed my perspective on X or Y, or improved my habits. So for that reason, sometimes it's tough to do good work when you feel as though it's all falling on deaf ears. But hey, you got to keep the good fight up. Right, that's what this podcast is about. So, closing thoughts. I'll start. I'll keep the.
Are we gonna pass it around?
We'll pass it around.
Okay, all right.
Everybody's
Cool.
closing thoughts. So, my closing thoughts are. They say that a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, but is it worth 3 in the bush?
Okay,
it's my thought for today.
Okay,
how about you?
Go to Joe next.
Joe, what about you?
I'm still thinking about how getting your wife pregnant lets you be like a bachelor again. That's insane. That's an insane motivation to be like, I just want to play video games again, and I figured it out. She goes to bed at 7 p.m.
Anybody out there who believes that though hasn't gotten their wife pregnant as many times as I have. It does not make your life like a bachelor again.
Well, especially after kid number 1.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I think there is that kind of 9-month reprieve.
No, that's the point of this.
Yeah.
This guy thinks that, and then he realizes it's over now. It's completely over.
Yeah. My kid screamed at me. This is my closing thought. My kid screamed at me for like an hour off and on, and I was just trying to watch Top Gun Maverick while I ate my tacos tonight. I was like, look, I want to watch a great movie. I want the family to watch it with me. We're gonna eat some tacos, and he was so mad that my wife wouldn't play Fortnite with him this evening because it hadn't downloaded yet, and she wasn't. She's like, I'll do it tomorrow. And he just lost his little mind and was so angry. He's like, I'm so mad. I'm never playing Fortnite with you ever again. And that was my whole evening. From 5 to 7:30 when I came here. And so if anybody ever says that getting your wife pregnant is going to make your life like a bachelor again, don't believe them. It's not true.
There you go.
Now, I feel bad that my closing thoughts contradicted Joe's closing thoughts. So, Joe, I'm going to pass it back over to you.
No, it didn't contradict. I was saying that it's the rise and fall epic. Yeah. That's what you gave people there.
There you go.
Yeah.
What you need is a hero's journey in these kinds of things.
Yeah, okay. You didn't have that there. That was the opposite.
This was like a like a Steinbeck situation.
Josh just did Godfather 2 on me. That was even it.
Did you ever chill with your friends with the Godfather 2 on your ass, dude? Terrible. The worst. Goodness. All right, Joe Pappalardo, thank you so much for coming on the pod as always.
Good seeing you guys.
Good to see you as well. And dude, we gotta talk to you again soon. Always love to chat with you. Yep. And enjoy your time in sunny Florida.
And tell people who will hear this in a couple days where they can find you. Coming up soon, in person or online.
I'm doing an Alamo Draft House on April 10th.
Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
So that'll be cool. And then I'm doing some brewery, but you can I have a link in my bio, which I hate saying, but
link in bio.
Bio, brother.
Tag it below.
Pappalardo Funny. Pappalardo Funny is the handle. And,
and for somebody who's not Italian American, can you tell them how to spell Pappalardo?
Don't do that. We will link it below. Thanks, Joe.
It means fat daddy. That's what it means. I'll see you.
Fat daddy. Good to talk to you,
man. Good to talk to you.
Take care. See you guys.